Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 354th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. This is a Thursday bonus battle, and I hope you enjoy it. As you can see, this is fought on the Germanic Forest map. As you've seen, lots of battles that I fought on here. I like this map because you've got big open plains to fight in, but you've also got the forest fighting if you want to bring some barbarian troops for the forest. A bonus there. Okay, our first teammate is RTW player Lee. A lot of you know Lee, very good player. And let's have a look at his army. As you can see, he's got 5 archers there, and I think it's 10 infantry. Yeah, 5 archers and 10 infantry. He might have some more units hiding in the woods, but I don't think he has. And as you can see, he's got, I think it's 5 cavalry. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his cavalry. He usually brings good cavalry. Oh, and there you can see he's got fully upgraded Praetorian cavalry. So that's 3 stripes, gold shield, gold attack. That makes his elite cavalry even more elite and very difficult to kill. I see he's got an armoured cavalry general there as well. And the upgrades on that is 7 upgrades. So he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry general. So let's say he's got 10 infantry, 5 archers and 5 cavalry there. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Earth, who has bought the Germania faction. A lot of you know Earth, very good player. And as you can see there, he has bought the Germania faction, and he's got 5 chosen axemen. And let's have a look at the upgrades on those axemen. You can see he's got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And remember, these chosen axemen are effective against armour and can cut swathes through heavily armoured troops such as urban cohorts. Very effective units those are. I see he's got 6 chosen archers. Now remember, those archers have got long range. They're so tough that when they run out of arrows, you can use them as light infantry. Very, very effective archers there. I see he's got 6 of those, and then he's got his Gothic cavalry. Now the Gothic cavalry, if you have a look at their specifications, they're very underestimated cavalry. Let's have a look at the upgrades. Okay, he's got 9 upgrades. He's fully upgraded his cavalry. So that's 3 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now as I say, this cavalry is a very elite cavalry. If you have a look at their specifications, they are extremely good, and being fully upgraded, that's going to really make a difference with that cavalry. I see he's got 6 of those, and he's got 3 berserkers. 1, 2, 3. And I think he's got 6 upgrades on the berserkers. So he's got gold shield, gold attack on those berserkers. Remember, those berserkers have got effective against armor maces. They've got 2 hit points, and have got a massive fear factor that lowers the morale of enemy troops, therefore making them more susceptible to routing. Okay, so these guys are really, really tough infantry, and they're used as shock troops. And used correctly, they can be battle winning troops as well. Okay, our third teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's bought his same old army there, 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. So there's our team. Should be a great one for you to watch. And here is the enemy team. We have Brotherhood member Lord Crypto. A lot of you know Crypto, very good player. To my knowledge, this is the first time that he's actually bought Pontus. So this is an experimental army here that he's bringing. Well, of course, whenever you experiment with everything, it's just that, an experiment. You just get used to the strengths and weaknesses of a particular faction. So that's what he'll be doing during the course of this battle. As you can see there, he's got a mixture of archers there, and he's got his bronze shields pikemen there as well. Remember those pikes, extremely long pikes that Roman troops have to fight down to kill the man on the other end. So it'd be interesting to see how well he does with this Pontus faction. As I say, to my knowledge, it's the first time that he's bought them. And over here you can see that he's got, I think it's 2 chariot archers. As you can see there's 2 archers within the chariot and the driver itself. And forming into Canterbury Circle, when they go into a Canterbury Circle, makes them almost impossible to be killed by foot archers, but they can inflict a lot of casualties on enemy troops. So bringing chariot archers is always a good thing. With that Canterbury Circle, makes them very, very difficult to kill for foot archers. And as you can see, I think he's got 4 probably heavy attack chariots in the woods there. So he's got his scythe chariots hidden in the woods there at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how well he uses them. As I say, this is, to my knowledge, the first time he's bought Pontus, so it's going to be all an experiment for him. Their second teammate is an RTW player called Apex Rex Celtic, who has bought the Carthage faction. Apex has played in a few games with us now and seems to be quite a good player. I'm not sure, I think this is the first time I've seen him bring Carthage there, and I think he's got something like 14 spearmen. Let's have a look at the upgrades. As you can see there, he's got 7 upgrades, so he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on those spearmen there. And I see he's got 6 cavalry. Remember, Sacred Band cavalry, extremely good. So he got 7 upgrades on the Sacred Band cavalry. So that's an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. No slingers in this army, just the spearmen and the cavalry. And their third teammate is Brotherhood member Canary Kurwa, who has bought the Rome Brutio faction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think he's got 14 or 15 infantry there and 4 cavalry. Yeah, I think it's like 14 infantry and 4 cavalry there. Let's have a look. And if you look at the upgrades of his cavalry, he's only got 6 upgrades on his cavalry, so that's gold shield, gold attack. But if we look at the upgrades, if you look at the upgrades at his rear units of his infantry, you'll see that he's got, I think it's 7 upgrades. So the rear line of his battle formation's got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his entire rear line of his infantry there. So that's going to make that rear line extremely tough. So that's a pretty good team there, and I think the other units have just got gold shield, gold attack on the forward units there. So there's the other team. Okay, at this stage of the battle, Brotherhood member Earth has asked me to swap with him. He wanted to go on to the left flank there, and he asked me to guard his berserkers. He left his 3 berserkers there, so I'm moving over to the centre there to guard his berserkers while he moves over to the left. This battle is a very new battle. It was only fought last night. I just thought I'd put a really modern battle on for you to watch as a Thursday bonus battle. I'd just like to draw your attention to Lee being a long way away from us here. There's a big gap between us and him that the enemy could exploit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over that side of the battlefield. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you can see that Crypto's bringing out his chariot archers over to our left flank, probably with a view to be able to cause as many casualties as he can to our Germania ally. Now remember, barbarian troops are extremely susceptible to missile damage, and that's why he's taking his chariot archers over there. Let's just pause the game for a second. And as we thought earlier, remember we looked at Crypto's army, and there's his 4 heavy scythed chariots there, just coming out of hiding in the woods. So as we thought, we were quite correct there. You can see that those are scythed chariots, and remember they've got good attacking specifications. They've got, I think it's 2 hit points, 2 or 3 hit points. But of course, if they run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike, as we've seen in other battle videos, and they seem to be even more powerful when they run amok. They seem to kill even more people in that amok stage. So it'll be interesting to see if they do run amok and if they do any damage to both his team and our team. Okay, so as you can see here, Earth is moving most of his archers over to this left flank to try and neutralise the chariot archers. Now remember, once those chariot archers get into Canterbury Circle, they are extremely difficult to kill for foot archers. Well, they can inflict a lot of damage onto those foot archers once they get into Canterbury Circle. Let's say you can see Earth's brought his cavalry over to this flank as well. If you notice here, can you see that he's using fire arrows? Well, of course, the morale of chariots, especially the ones that run amok, is very low. And of course, as we know, fire arrows lower morale of any units. So what he's trying to do here, he's trying to hit them with fire arrows to lower their morale and hopefully send them to run amok. So that they then, obviously, when they run amok, they become out of control of their general and they just do their own thing. So that's why you'll find a lot of generals with their foot archers will use fire arrows on the chariots. Yes, they cause less casualties, but with chariots, if they can make them run amok, then that's quite a good thing to do. As you can see here, Crypto's, I think, trying to put his units into that Canterbury Circle. But can you see here, Earth is charging his cavalry over towards those chariot archers there. Okay, now he's usually he won't catch them, but you can see here. Let's pause the game for a second. You can see that those chariot archers are in Canterbury Circle. Well, when Crypto wants to pull those chariot archers away from attacking troops, they have to stop the Canterbury Circle and then run off. Well, of course, see, the thing is here, they're only just stopping just as the Germania cavalry hit, and bang, as that cavalry goes in. So of course both those chariot archers now are going to be routed. Now that's a little lesson for newer players to Rome Total War. If you've got your chariot archers in Canterbury Circle, if you need to pull them away from attacking troops, you need to do it really quickly, because they have to stop the Canterbury Circle, then run away. They don't run away automatically. So that was just something I thought was a good example there. As you can see, Lee is still right over there on our right flank, on the edge of the woods there, and he's a long way away from us if anything happens here. As I say, I'm looking after Earth Zerks here with my army, my infantry and cavalry. Meanwhile, the enemy are forming up here in the centre. You can see the Carthage generals put some Carthage Sacred Band units over with his Brutii ally there, but as you can see, Lee is just kind of stood there on the edge of the woods there. And if the enemy are quick, they could maybe even catch him, and he could become isolated over there. So we'll just have to watch to see what actually happens over on that right flank of ours. As you can see, both Earth and myself are formed up here in the centre of the battle line there. And you can see Earth is still using one of his archer units to shoot at the enemy there, harassing and haranguing them with arrows. Right, if you notice here, can you see that Lee is now moving his SBQR army? Now, is he going to move over here and link up with me so that we've all formed up together before we decide a battle plan? Or do you think he's going to be very aggressive and go straight for the enemy? What do you think he's going to do there? Link up with me, with us, or just attack the enemy? Right, as you can see here, he's moving forward at a slight angle, but he is definitely moving forward towards the enemy battle line. Okay, now as you know, a lot of you will know, Lee is a very aggressive attacking player. He likes to take the battle to the enemy. He likes to keep the enemy on the back foot and kind of get them to dance to his tune. So he is a very aggressive player here, and as you can see, he's moving towards the enemy lines. But the enemy there are pretty stacked up there. There's 3 enemy armies there, and me and Earth are a long way away from him to support him. So with him attacking here, he could become a little bit isolated. And if he's not careful, he could be caught there. But as I say, he's still moving forward, being very aggressive. But as you can see, the distance between us and him, all of a sudden, as I say, he didn't say anything to it. He just started to run towards the enemy. So we were kind of caught cold there, not knowing what was going to happen. So we're going to have to run as fast as we can over now to try and support him. But if the enemy are quick, they could actually do a devastating attack on him now and really cause him massive casualties. But it depends on how quick the enemy are going to be. As I say, you can see I'm running my infantry and cavalry over, and also Earth is running his troops over as fast as he can as well. It might be a good idea for you can see loads and loads of pilot exchanging going on here. You can see it's like almost raining pilots. So many pilots being thrown in by both teams, but it might be a good idea, for Lee to pull back. He doesn't want to stand his ground there against Carthage and Brutii. And if the enemy bring their cavalry and those chariots in as well, he could be in real difficulty over here on our right flank. You can see Canary spotted the danger here and is charging his infantry and he's charging his cavalry in as well, straight into Lee's infantry there, and bang as that cavalry hits. Also, you'll notice that Crypto's charging his chariots in as well. But straight away, you'll see here, can you see frightened by chariots? So, of course, when units are frightened, their morale drops a heck of a lot and makes them extremely susceptible to routing. So, as I say, those chariots bring a big fear factor to the battlefield. And Lee's army being hit by good cavalry, good infantry, and chariots as well, he'll do well to hold here on our right flank. As I say, very aggressive player is Lee, but if he's not careful, he's going to be caught cold here. As I say, we're racing over as fast as we can to try and help him, but with the enemy attacking so aggressively here, I just hope we can get there in time to be able to help him here. As I say, you can see those chariots going around, but the thing is, those chariots may start running amok. Right, okay. Let's pause the game for a second. Can you see that chariot now is running amok? So that chariot now will kill both friend and foe alike. And as I said before, when they run amok, they seem to be even more powerful than in normal mode. So that amok chariot now will be chopping down both friend and foe alike. So when you bring chariots, it is a kind of a bit of a gamble, and they are a double-edged sword sometimes. but it'll be interesting to see how much damage they do. But as you can see here, Lee's SBQR army is gradually being engulfed by enemy troops. As you can see also here, you can see Earth's Germania Gothic cavalry have raced over here to help. He'll probably be charging them into the enemy as soon as he can. You can see his army, my army and my cavalry are charging over as well, over to that right flank to try and help Lee out. But luckily the Pontus and the Carthage general are facing us with most of their infantry, rather than taking them over to the left to finish off Lee. So what we'll do, we'll avoid fighting those pikes and spears head on, and we'll just keep going right and try and smash into the attacking units there that are attacking Lee at the moment. Let's say I think the Carthage and Pontus general thought we might be heading for them, but we'll avoid them if we can and come over here to help our ally. As you can see, Lee's troops being aggressively attacked there. There you can see the Germania cavalry charging in, and bang! You can see my cavalry charging in as well, and bang! As we hit the enemy in the flank there, smashing into the enemy Brutii infantry there. But as you can see here, a lot of Lee's infantry are starting to rout at this time. So I just hope we manage to get over there in time to be able to save most of his army, or some of his army anyway. Let's just pause again for a second. So as I say, you can see that Amok chariot there. He's probably chopping down loads of his Brutii allies there. If you got a close up there, he'd probably be chopping down loads of them. As I say, double-edged swords bringing chariots sometimes, and you can see the Carthage Sacred Band running forward here. Lee's got some battle damaged cavalry at the back of his army there, but a heck of a lot of his units have now been routed. In fact, he may only have 2 or 3 infantry units left that are actually engaged at the moment. But you can see Germania's, our allied Germania cavalry, they're doing really good. I've smashed my cavalry into the flank of the enemy attacking Brutii troops there. And as I say, I've moved my infantry over. Right, can you see the Berserkers have now been activated? Okay, Earth has activated his Berserkers now. His 3 Berserker units are now in Berserk mode. So they, as soon as they go in Berserk, they go out of control of their general, and they just attack the nearest enemy unit. Okay, now unfortunately I can see a lot of spears and pikes moving towards those Berserkers. Remember, spears and pikes will kill those Berserkers really easily. And if you notice, I'm moving my infantry over there to try and cushion and shield those Berserkers from those spears and pikes if I can. Just so that it gives those Berserkers a bit of a chance to kill as many enemy troops as they can. But if they run into those spears and pikes, like all barbarian troops, they will die quickly and they won't do a lot of damage. Okay? So as you can see there, the enemy team has spotted those Berserkers, have gone Berserk, and are moving their spears and pikes over. Right, let's pause again for a second. So as I say, the Berserkers have been activated here, but unfortunately the enemy have spotted that and are moving their spears and pikes in to neutralise those Berserkers. Moving on over here on our right flank, you can see now a lot of our allies' SBQR troops have been routed. He's actually bringing archer units in now to fight as well. But a lot of the of our allies' SBQR troops, the bulk of his army now, have basically been routed here over on our right flank, and the enemy are still pushing forward there. I've got my cavalry still engaged over there, and I think the Germania cavalry are over there as well. But as I said, here at the moment those Berserkers have been activated, and they, as I say, they attack the nearest enemy unit. And as you can see there, they're running straight into spears and pikes. Okay, so remember, if you're a Germania general, try to keep your Berserkers, well actually your troops in general, away from fighting spears and pikes head on, because all barbarian troops, whether they're Berserkers or whatever, will die quickly on spears and pikes. If you notice, these Berserker units will gradually be whittled down now, and they won't be doing a lot of damage, because as I say, the spears and pikes, we can see they're down to 4 men. That one unit's down to 4, that one's going down rapidly, that one's down to 4 as well, that one's down to 3. So they're being neutralised by the spears and pikes, and they won't be doing a lot of damage there. So let's say the spears and pikes are doing the job there. Reduce them down to 3. I think one of the Berserker units have already been taken out, and I think there's just one Berserker unit left, and he's got 3 men in. So that's how quickly even Berserkers can be taken out by spears and pikes. I thought this was a good example for newer players to see this. Okay, so now from what I can see, all the Berserker units are now dead. Okay, if you notice here, I'm moving my battle damaged cavalry out of the woods, They've been fighting for a long time against the Brutii infantry, and I'm going to charge them into Crypto's archers there, those Pontus archers. They've been shooting into us for ages, causing casualties, so I'm going to smash them with my cavalry, and bang! My cavalry hits those Pontus archers there. I'm going to try and take them out. Let's say there was a good lot of them shooting arrows into us for a long time there. Okay, meanwhile over on our right here you can see that our Germania allies cavalry and some of Lee's cavalry there are still being active here. Very battle damaged cavalry, as you can see over here on our right flank, but still I think we've got a cavalry advantage there. But over here you can see that basically Lee's army has been wiped out. He's got some archer units left, and as I said, a couple of battle damaged cavalry, but the vast majority of the rest of his army has now been routed. I think all his infantry basically has now been routed. So that attack that he did on the right flank has cost him a lot of his infantry there, but I think he's probably done a lot of damage to the enemy team as well, enabling us to be able to compete with what's left of the enemy team. As you can see here in the woods, I've got a Germania axe unit there, but I think most of the Germania faction's been taken out as well, apart from their cavalry. So if you notice here, I'm moving my infantry around the flanks of those attacking spears and pikes there, trying to attack the, as I say, the flank and the rear of enemy units. As you can see here, I've taken out a lot of the Pontus archers that have been shooting into us all game. But if you notice here, can you see that the Pontus and Carthage are very concentrated on this particular part of the map? Okay, so we've got them concentrated there, so whether that's a good thing for us or not, I'm not sure, because concentrated spears and pikes can be difficult to break. But it'll be interesting to see how we manage to go about this. Remember, when you attack spears and pikes, look for the flanks, look for the rear to attack them. If you notice here, I've got my cavalry locked and loaded, ready to charge in. Right, can you see where I'm going to go for? I'm going to go for the rear of those engaged Carthage Sacred Band spearmen, and bang, as my cavalry smash into the rear of those engaged Sacred Band there, and routed all three of those units. Remember, when you're fighting spears or pikes, you go for the rear or the flank of those units there. So that was a nice hit there with the cavalry, took out those Carthage Sacred Band units. But as you can see there, the enemy are concentrated there, as I said, with their spears and pikes. So I'm going to move my cavalry back, lock and load them again, try and look for a target to hit. But if you notice, I've got a lot of my Scipio units around the side, as well as hitting those spear units and pike units head on. Right, just to show you that Earth's brought his archers forward here. Now these archers are going to be shooting loads and loads of arrows into the enemy team. He's shooting fire arrows into those Carthage Sacred Band and those Pontus bronze pikemen there, lowering the morale. He's still got some very battle damaged cavalry out here that he's using extremely well. But as you can see here, Lee's got some battle damaged cavalry left there as well, but they are extremely battle damaged. And we're still trying to concentrate here on this that big wedge of pike and spearmen. I see the Pontus generals still alive, but you can see the fire arrow shooting into them by Earth's archers there. So as I say, remember those fire arrows don't only cause casualties, but they lower the morale of these troops as well. But bang, that's a Pontus general down. So as we know, Pontus morale is really poor anyway. So for them to lose their general and lose that morale bonus, that's really bad for them and good for us.
Enemy army is in flight. Pursue them and drive
Let's just pause the game for a second. Right, can you see here that the Carthage general's seen how much damage the archers are doing here, and so he's running his actual general unit over to take on these archers there. He's so concerned by the damage that they're doing. So to say here, you can see the pressure of my infantry on these Carthage Sacred Band troops, plus they're being shot with fire arrows. So they're being assailed by most sides here by my troops. They're starting to rout. The fire arrows, as they take morale away from them. As I can see, a few of their units starting to rout. I'm throwing my units in even more aggressively here to try and finish them off. As I say, I've got my battle damaged cavalry ready to charge in if needed. There's a Carthage general there now. He's being engulfed by archers who've been auto-attacked, plus a Germania cavalry unit smashed into the rear of him as well. but he's doing quite good there against the numbers. Right, if you notice here, can you see I'm moving my Scipii infantry away from those head-on Sacred Band spearmen there. I've moved them over a little bit there. So if you notice now, they're going to be facing my troops. Now I've got cavalry in behind them. Maybe the tactic here is to try and draw those spearmen onto my infantry there, where they will expose the rear of their units there for my cavalry to hit. But as you can see now, I've gone back into the fray with my infantry and are now attacking those Sacred Band head on. But the Sacred Band are so battle damaged anyway that they're starting to rout. There's that Pontus unit that's just routed there. And it wouldn't surprise me if the rest of those units, as you can see, I'm just charging my cavalry there as the last of those Carthage Sacred Band units rout, and bang, as that cavalry hits. So it looks like we've managed to go on and win this battle here. I remember after the battle, Lee said to us he thanked both Earth and myself for being able to get over there and save him, which I thought was quite nice there. As you say, it's good teamwork there to go over and help an ally who maybe was a little bit over aggressive. As you can see, it's an average victory. I thought it was going to be a close victory actually, and I was surprised to see this. As you see, Lee probably didn't get the kills that he wanted, but he still had quite good kills, bearing in mind that he was attacked quite aggressively right at the early stages of the battle there. So that wasn't bad kills for him, as I said, bearing in mind he was attacked quite early. Both, as I say, myself and Earth got over to him as quick as we could to try and help him out. As I say, he was very aggressive there, may have been over aggressive there and put himself at risk, but as I say, this is a good example to new players' teamwork. See how Earth and myself got over there as quick as we can to help our ally out there. Remember that if you leave allies to get taken out, then the chances are your team's going to lose the battle. So that's a good description of teamwork there. And really well done to Canary Kurwa, Apex Rex Celtic and Lord Crypto. Well done, guys. Good attack. I'll tell you what, Crypto, for your first, I think, attempt with Pontus there, you did really good. Of course, it's like everything, it's just a case of learning when you use new factions, learning their strengths and weaknesses. I know you're a bit upset about those chariot archers, but remember, when they're in Canterbury Circle, they don't pull away straight away. They have to stop the Canterbury Circle and then go. Just to show you, I've got the smallest army on the battlefield by far, but if you see, I've managed to scrape in the most kills. So remember, it may be not the size of the army that you bring, but how you use it in combination with your allies to how many kills you get to help your team win. This is Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the Friday bonus battle. Look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.